Our routines are like padlocks. The morning ritual, the exercise, the spot between lead generation, and then the number of people that you talk to is an actual combination. And if we just do it enough, it will unlock all the success that we want.
Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Welcome, everyone, to another amazing episode of Referrals Podcast. I am so glad you are here today, and I'm very glad that our guest is here today. We've been trying to get him on for a while. Today, you have the opportunity to learn from a very high-producing individual and a very dear friend, somebody who's just become a dear friend in the last, 9 months or so, which is pretty amazing that we've only known each other that long. I can't wait to have you hear that story. Before I jump into that, I've got to give a big shout out to a 5-star iTunes review on the Referrals Podcast from the closer 555. I have no idea who that is, but congratulations on being the closer. We need people that have the name the closer in their title to listen to Referrals Podcast, because you don't have to always be closing, Mr. Closer or Mrs. Closer. You can always be connecting. And hopefully you're learning to go from trying to close people to trying to connect with people in our show. But we do welcome you. And I do love what you said here. So thank you. Michael is an amazing coach and has many lessons in this podcast to help teach referrals and how to become a connector instead of a closer in your community. Doing any of his challenges are beneficial, and they have all helped me a ton. Thanks for your coaching. Hub to spoke strategy I learned about. Totally legit. Thank you so much. Thank you, the closer 555. And let me know who you are. Go to joingengen.com and say, hey, the closer 555 is me, and I would love to thank you personally. So do me a favor on that. Speaking of joingengen.com, this is an invite to all of you to join our private referral group, The Generosity Generation, on Facebook. It's joingengen, joingengen.com, joingengen.com. Come over and join us, and it is our referral community. We do trade referrals every single month. We would love to have you. If you're listening to the podcast, you're probably our type of people, so we'd love to have you over there. And also, I have to remind you that if you're not in RMA, get into the Referral Mastery Academy ASAP, because we have Energy Mastery class coming on August 8th. That's right, 8/8 of 23. We are starting Energy Mastery class. You can learn more about that at energymasteryclass.com, energymasteryclass.com. Speaking of energy, from the very first time we ever met, this guy has energized me. With a smile, with a happiness, with great questions, with a great heart, with a great kid. Can you believe that? Their great kids can inspire other parents. And that's the truth. That's how it works. Our guest came into Gen just this last year. And all thanks to his son and football, believe it or not. But we will get into that later. His contagious enthusiasm for life and desire to learn and implement are what has brought him onto the podcast today. Eric Helm is a realtor in Atlanta, Georgia, but grew up in San Francisco, California, and actually has theclosingtable.com and can help you in either Atlanta, Georgia, or the California area. And did I mention he's also the proud parent of an absolutely sensational athlete who made an All-American team with the FBU All-American, All-Georgia team that won a national championship a couple of years ago. Get ready to be inspired as we delve into Eric's inspirational story today. Eric, welcome to Referrals Podcast, man.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's definitely great to have you here. And so we got to start with the story of how you and I met for the first time. So take us through that a little bit.
I mean, Michael, look, so Michael has a son that's on the All-American team also. And one day we were at the practice field. I know we thought it was a game, but it was the practice field.
That's right.
And believe it or not, Michael, I was I was having not one of my best days, and Michael walks up to me. Michael walked up to me, bright, bubbly. Who's this guy? And I was like, I'm Eric Helm. And he's like, I'm Michael. And from there, but still, I had no idea that you were the Michael Maher who wrote one of the books that I had taught at another organization for years. Had no idea. Always admired the book. He walked up to me, asked me who I was, and it's been on from there.
Yeah, I love it. I remember like sitting by you the first practice, and we just talked football. Like you were talking about the defensive backfield and the safeties and the cornerbacks, and I was talking about the wide receivers and just having like a parent to parent conversation. And then I remember like 3 or 4 practices later, I thought it was a game. It might have been a scrimmage or something, but I sat by you and you leaned over and you just go, well, like, does anybody else here know who you are?
Yes.
And I was like, I'm not sure what you meant right at first because like I coach high school football. So I thought maybe it was along the high school, but you also coach high school football. So I'm like, that doesn't impress you at all. Right. So and it was like, and then you're like, you're the one that wrote that 7L, right? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I don't think anybody cares, honestly, here at this football practice. And you're like, have I got a story to tell you? Yeah. And you proceeded to tell me that you had been teaching out of it for years, right?
Yep. I started with Miracle Mornings and teaching the actual savers. And then I grew into 7 levels of communication. And that helped me kind of grasp just the concepts. Implementation wasn't there yet, but it did help me grasp the concepts. And then when I found out that, how the law of attraction is so powerful I literally admired that book. I admired the Miracle Morning. I admired 7 levels of communication. I also practiced them, but how ironic, how powerful is the mind for the person who wrote the book to walk up to me, not to anybody, to me, and ask me, who are you? Mm-hmm. So I'm 100% grateful for that, Michael, and I'm 100% grateful for you.
Well, I appreciate that. And so what was the first class you took after you joined Gen and Referral Mastery Academy? And I have to tell everybody here that Eric is a special kind of person, right? So you have to realize that in life, I've had many parents where we've had conversations about business. The amount of people who took action after those conversations are less than a handful. And they're just, right? I mean, it's like there's people who just, they'll take a little seed of opportunity and run with it. And there's others who never plant the seed. Eric's one of those where he just embraced it and he took it down and he was humble about it. And he was, I don't know how to maybe explain it any better than that. But it was just, you came in like a hurricane. You know what I mean? Man. Like you came in to learn and change and just like embrace. I mean, it was so funny is Polly and Angela. I mean, some of the teachers were telling me about this guy named Eric right in the beginning, and I was just like I was just dumbfounded. I was like, oh my gosh, like that's so awesome. So anyway, so you took 30 mornings. Like, tell us about your experience in going through 30 mornings. Like, what changed in you, or you had already kind of been doing it, but what changed?
Yeah, I had already been doing coaching, so real estate coaching, because there was a part of the business that I wanted to pierce, and that was the listing side. And so in studying listings, the number one thing that all the top producers have, and I mean, when I say top producers, people that sell 100 houses a year, take 100 listings a year, 300 listings a year, 400 listings a year. What I found that there's a common thread between all of them. One is scripts, and the other part is the morning routine. The morning routine was just an absolute must. So it was necessary to perform. Now, for me, I wasn't a morning person. I'm just going to say it, Michael. I wasn't a morning person, or I thought I wasn't a morning person. However, it was something that I would attempt to do, get up 5 a.m., and kind of go through this routine. And I could never just dig my heels in and just keep it as a habit. And so what 30 Mornings did was gave me a community to answer to, for one. So they always say, if you want to work out, you want to get on a solid workout routine, get a partner or a trainer. Mm-hmm. Because you kind of owe it to that person to be there, and your credibility is on the line.
That's right.
And that's what 30 Mornings was to me. Now, with the 30 Mornings, the savers came easy because I journal every day. I meditate every day. I listen to Abraham Hicks. I listen to different philosophies on just the mindset, law of attraction, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn. I mean, we can go all the way down the line with it, but
you're rattling off some pretty big names right there, buddy. That's like an all-American team of life coaches.
Yes. Yes. And so to get there, though, I mean, it's one thing to hear them. And what I heard you say, Michael, was the implementation. And I've always wanted the implementation. And I would study myself and I would say, what is it inside of me that's not allowing me to just dig my heels in and lock in? And so when I took your class, 30 Mornings allowed me to literally dig my heels in to the morning routine and really feel the magic of it. The first couple days are, it's training a new habit. So they were rough. But after a while, the mind and the body started getting conditioned, and then the miracles of the morning started to happen. So that was the first class that I took, 30 Mornings, had an enormous impact on my lead generation. It does something to the mind when you're just ahead. When you're ahead, when you're not on time, but you're before time. And I'm not saying this to preach it to nobody else. These are the internal conversations that I was having with myself. Eric, how can Eric be Eric? How can Eric become a better Eric? And that was the one thing. It's the one thing that caused me to be, very successful.
Yeah. So talk to me about, take me through first week, second, and this is January when you're taking it. And I have to tell you, one of the things that I didn't even think of when I started Referral Mastery Academy is that you can prove referability just by committing and attending the classes with everybody else in the class. So everybody else, and you were this way, right? And I mean, other people in the class talk to me about you. And it's like, what does that mean? I mean, that's the beginning of referability. But because you showed up every single day, they learned either subliminally or consciously, I can count on Eric showing up. I can count on you. And so that makes us all more referable. The people who win our challenges are the most referable people in our community because they commit, they show up, and other people see it and they go, I can count on you. There was just a referral posted last week. And what happened is the fan clubs kicked in. Like all these people were like, they paid to be in a group where everybody else says when a city comes up, they mention this person, right? And it happens and it's all good. But what's interesting is then a couple of people who I know have taken classes and have been, they ended up getting the listing, $2 million listing, by the way. $2 million listing, they got it. Not because of the 18 people who fan clubbed it. It was because the person who was referring it had taken a class with that person and knew that they could count on him because that person showed up to all 30 days of the 30-day challenge.
That's right.
And I just love what you said about the community aspect of it. And it's like getting a trainer or a accountability partner. There's people counting on you to be there, So I love that. And all right. So in January, take me kind of through your evolution of taking 30 mornings, kind of go week by week. First week you said was rough.
First week is rough.
Yeah.
I mean, no doubt about it, but and everything changes. So the first thing we have to understand about 30 mornings is that your nights change.
Mm.
Your nights are the first thing to change, because instead of, the 12 o'clock hour is just too late. Mm-hmm. That's what, let's face it, most realtors, we're out, we're socializing, most of us not running a real schedule. 12 o'clock is bedtime, 1 o'clock bedtime. Maybe I'll put in the listing here, look for some properties. But the first thing that changed during the first week was my bedtime started to change.
Mm. How much earlier did it get?
8 o'clock.
Yeah. I mean, you were exhausted.
I went from 12 to 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
For one, you're exhausted. You got it all in because your days become extremely long, and they become extreme. And in a positive sense, they become extremely productive. Mm-hmm. But that first week is just that 15 minutes, whatever that 15-minute window is during the first week. I think it's 7 o'clock. Your body's just adjusting. So it's rough. It is a little rough. But by the time you get to Friday, you're like, I'm ready to do it again.
Mm-hmm. So we wake you up 15 minutes earlier the next week.
and then the next week they hit you with, 15 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
So the first week is rough. The second week, you kind of get into a groove. So your neural pathways start to change. Mm-hmm. Okay, so for people that don't know about neural pathways, they're the actual grooves that when you see a brain, those grooves are neural pathways. They're habits. So those start to form in the mind. And so now you start getting up before the alarm clock goes off. That happens week 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. So you start getting up before the alarm clock goes off. Okay. So it probably won't happen the second Monday, but it'll happen like the second Wednesday. Mm. Then the special stuff starts happening because of what we're getting fed in the morning through Paulie. And Paulie is, wow. How about Paulie? Yeah. How about Angela? I mean, man. So, but because you're journaling, because of what they're inspiring you with, now your RAS is starting to open up. Our AS, reticular activating system, is starting to open up, and now referrals are coming. That happened to me this time around. Big referrals, like you said, $1.4 million. Mm-hmm. Just calling out the blue. Now, if you're a lead generation person, your flow and your focus starts to change around that second week too. So where you were getting no's, or where you were kind of struggling to break through in terms of scripting, that stuff starts to just go away around the second week. So things just start to happen the second week because of the consistency over time, over that first 14 days.
Yeah. What do you think? Like you say, things like what are those things? Like opportunities, or is it just your energy, or like what's changed? And do you feel like changed?
The energy for one, and yes, the energy. And I'm glad you asked me that, Michael. Authenticity. Mm. Who we are, who we say we are, and who we really are have to be congruent. Our audio has to match our video, and we're the first ones to know. Mm. So
that is I hope everybody heard that loud and clear, because we all have high hopes for ourselves. We know we have more potential. When we are actually living in that potential, it is extremely strengthening. It is extremely powerful when you are actually living who you know you could be. And that's what this was starting to do for you, is you're like, no, I am this guy. I am this guy who vibrates at this high frequency, and I haven't been him in the past. Now I'm doing it. And that is motivating, inspiring, and attracting It's by the way, I say all the time, there's nothing more attractive than growth. There's nothing more attractive than growth. That's the truth. But somebody who is growing, I mean, it's like you look at 2 yards. Which yard are you going to go play in? The one that's like dirt and yellow grass and things are dying? Or are you going to go play on the one that's green grass and you know, has the beautiful trees and the so on and so forth, right? You're going to go play in the green yard. Growth is attractive. And so be the green yard.
Yeah.
Period. Right? So energy and authenticity are soaring, and you're feeling that in week 2 and 3, right?
Yeah.
And then by week 4, what do you think changes?
By week 4, you're trying to service all the new business that you have. By week 4, you're just in a groove.
Yeah.
You're in flow.
Yeah.
You kind of, the energy, well, this is what I noticed, was that in week 4 now, you're starting to see the true strength of those who can commit over a long period of time and be consistent and hang on. So I think we went from 25 or something like that down to like, I don't know, it was like 9 or 10 of us.
You want to hear something even worse than that? We had like 165 sign up. We only had 50 or something like that in the first session, and we had 25 in like the third or fourth. And by the end, you had what, 9 to 11, 9 to 12?
Yeah, it was small.
And I mean, so that says it all right there. We just had Summerfest Challenge. We're in the middle of it right now. And we had hundreds of people sign up. Well, now we're down to like 24 to 30 people who are fully accountable. They're actually going to the graphic and following up. But it's funny is, who are those 24? They're millionaires. They're top. You hit it on the head. Like when you said, you know, those that list 100 homes a year, those are the ones who are committed. Like when they commit to something, they do it and they show up. So I love that. And you get the rewards when you commit and show up.
You get the reward. And is there something Paulie would say that I took very seriously? So if anybody wants to know anything about me, is that my word has to be my bond. My word to myself and my word to you has to be my bond. And there was something Paulie said, and he made us repeat every day. It's no matter what. Yeah. NMW, hashtag NMW. That means this is going to happen no matter what. Yeah. I remember I was working for a company. It wasn't a real estate company. I was doing some blue collar work, and they just put us under some extreme restraints. A very great company, but it taught me that we had to deliver packages. The restraints were such that you would literally have to ask yourself, how am I going to do this? But it would get done every time. And it taught me even then that it's the commitment to the commitment. It's the commitment to the commitment that makes the difference. We have to have a mountain to climb. We have to have an extreme difficulty to face that question, or else it's not worth it. It's not worth the climb. But that extreme difficulty that makes us say, how am I going to raise this money? How am I going to hit this goal? You know, and it's amazing the way that what we have from our creator, what we have, which is our brain, finds a way. So,
yeah, you hit it on the head with, I mean, if there is something that you embody that is the success ingredient, it is that commitment. I say on this show occasionally, and I've said it a lot lately, is the best compliment you can ever receive. Like, what's the best compliment? You know, it's like, I trust you, I would refer you, I like you, I respect you. What is the number one compliment you could ever receive? The number one compliment you could ever is someone saying, I can count on you. I can count on you. Well, what does it mean for someone to say that they can count on you? That means you're going to show up and you're going to be able to do pretty much anything that will help them, right? And like, I can count on you is the number. I mean, like, who can count on us? And why isn't it everybody? You know, why doesn't everybody we know, why can't they count on us? And it's like, we got to give our word less. Word is our bond. So that means we got to give our word less. We've got to commit to less and commit to better. Mm-hmm. Right? So we got to say no to more, which it means we've got to substitute likability for referability, brother. Man, I'm telling you that I've never said that before on our pod. I don't know if I've ever said that before at all, but that's the freaking truth. Like truth is that we've got to substitute likability for referability. Everybody says, well, it's, like, know, and trust. Well, forget like, right? And know. They're gonna refer people that they respect, trust, and they can count on to get the job done. And they hire our energy. They don't hire what we say. They hire our energy. So when you're showing up during 30 mornings, you're showing up to listing appointments, you're showing up with more energy. You've got a morning ritual. That's why people get 100 listings a year and have a morning ritual, is because they're showing up with higher energy. Why would I hire you? I look at you and we have a conversation, and it doesn't matter what you say. It really doesn't. It's like, oh, I like what he said. No, it's we get a gauge of energy and we make a decision. Does this person have the energy to get done the solution that's going to solve my problem? Right. And by the way, that's how new agents get listings. How do they get it? Enthusiasm. Mm-hmm. Enthusiasm is an energy. It's an energy that I am so happy to have your listing. I am willing to do anything to get it sold. Right. And then, like, down the road, it's competence and confidence. Like a top producer, why do they get? Because they've sold lots of homes before. So they go, I'm going to sell your house because I've sold lots of homes before. That's an energy. It's an energy of confidence, right? And so we hire an energy. And I think you hit it on the head with, when we are living in alignment and in true authenticity, we vibrate at a higher frequency. We have a higher energy. It's a more attractive energy, and we're in growth mode, and people want to be around that, and they hire us.
Yes. I mean, those things just come. Yeah. We create the energy by alignment. And that alignment is truth, living in truth, doing what we know we're supposed to do. And ultimately, we all know what we're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. I know I've always known what I'm supposed to do. And I go back to what I said earlier, getting there was the impediment between true authenticity, referability, the whole nine, right? Getting there is the difference. Getting there was the difference. So I'm going to go back, because in January, when I first took 30 mornings, now we had a couple months in between. Yeah.
Are you going to tell me about, like, how February, March, and April went?
February, March, and right? But then I felt the energy dip.
That's right.
And so I felt it wasn't the energy that dipped. My routine was off. Mm-hmm. That's it. So once we jump back in the routine, another miracle, AMs, right? AMs, another miracle.
Right. AM is another miracle, right?
AM is another miracle. And once I jump back into it the second time, it's even more powerful, because now you're revisiting this thing, that the things that happened in the last 30 mornings were not an accident. Mm-hmm. This is the way I explained it to my son. I took a padlock out.
Big Z. I called him Big Z. So he's one of the smallest kids. Me and Eric had two of the smallest kids on the field. We did, but they were, like, really good. So it helps. But it's like Big Z. I love it. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I hand Z. We're going to LA Fitness. I handed him a padlock. I said, "You know how to open that?" He's like, "Nah, Dad, I don't know how to open it. This is my son." I said, "Okay, I'm gonna show you how to open it." And something hit me as I was showing him how to open it, that when you turn a lock, you have to do it in a certain sequence. Mm-hmm. You cannot be off 1 degree. You cannot go past it a second time. You get right, left, right. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing with our routines. Our routines are like padlocks. The morning the morning ritual, the exercise, the spot between lead generation, and then scripts, and then the number of people that you talk to is an actual combination. And if we just do it enough, it will unlock all the success that we want. It is a combination. If I miss the morning, guess what? I'm off a digit. If I miss script practice, I'm off a digit. If I miss a day of lead generation, I don't even expect for it. I don't expect a miracle.
That is a powerful analogy, man, with the padlock, because it's so true. Is you're exactly right. It's like left, tink, right? You got to hit it. If the code is 12 and you're at 11 or 13, it doesn't work. You've got to hit 12 and stop on a dime. And then you're going back right. And if it's 36, you got to go past 0 and you got to go to 36 and you got to hit 36, not 35, not 37. You come back, go past 0 and you hit 53 or 52. If it's 52, you got to hit 52, not 53. And then boom, it unlocks, and it unlocks our potential. And what is behind the lock? Where the lock is on this, it's on the treasure. It's on the, it's on the door of opportunity. I mean, the gold and the silver and the beautiful people are all behind that door that we unlock. I mean, it's unlocking our potential is really the power of this. And you hit it on the head. Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. And those things came, and that thought came to me, yes, in the morning.
Yeah. It's just, I think the other thing too is you don't have to do all of Savers to unlock the potential. I think you hit a really important point of this. Is it's really 3. If you will just do 3 and hit them perfectly, hit the silence perfectly, hit the affirmations perfectly, hit the journaling perfectly, and that will unlock your potential to a certain length, right? Absolutely. And then you, like you said, you took it again in June. So tell us about those 30 days in a nutshell.
The first 5 days were a little rough. I was in a funk, actually. I had just fired a client. It was just a spot. And I felt like I was losing my mind. I'm sure most agents know what that feels like.
Well, it's the first week of June too. So losing your mind, the kids are out of school. You're talking about a ritual. That's why we do it in June, by the way. That's why we do it in January and June, is because that's the best time to start a new habit. The kids are out of school. Like, we got to figure out, how's my kid fit into my morning ritual, because we can usually go January to May and have a pretty good feel of our ritual because the kids are in school. So then the kids are out of school and it's like, all right, I gotta maybe get up earlier, or I maybe gotta involve the kid in the ritual or whatever it may be. So that's why we do it in June. So a lot of people are in a funk because the ritual changes. Life changes when the kids come home.
Michael, no lie. I'm sitting there and I'm like, what am I going to do different? I'm just in that zone. What am I going to do different? I got to get the business back going. I got to cash some checks. This kid's going to all American camps. Got to have the money. So something just told me, just look online and see when is the next 30 mornings. That's how I got into this.
Oh, wow.
And literally it started that day. So wow. I came in day 2. I went in, signed up and just went to day 2.
Wow.
So that's where I started. Started day 2. I wasn't feeling too well, to be honest. And it was amazing, the energy from Paulie and Angela. There was no way I was going to break it. I knew I needed it. It was tough the first week. So once I got those experiences, business experiences out of my system, which took about 4 days, because I was a little hurt. I was a little hurt by what I was a little hurt. So 4 days, after about the 4th day, I said, I found it in my heart to drop it. That means I could see the other side of this thing. And Paulie said something about the fifth day. He said faith. He said not a religious form of faith, but faith that things are going to be okay.
That's right.
Work out.
That's right. Faith in yourself, confidence, like it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. I'm good enough. Damn it. Let's go.
Boom. I said, I'm sticking with this. So now that was week one. Week one was such a paradigm shift. But I didn't realize
even after taking it the first time.
Yeah, it's more powerful second time. So I didn't realize, how far out of alignment I had gotten. But just that one statement from Paulie brought me back totally. And I said, and then I remember saying to myself, there's no way I'm going to miss.
I hope everybody heard that. I mean, you didn't just say that. You just said that with conviction. Like you said that, and I'm like, he didn't miss another day. I know 100% that you showed up 100%. I know it. And it just goes back to like with Max. It's like, and Z for you, is would I rather Max say, Dad, I like you? Or would I rather him say, Dad, I can count on you? Right? And, Eric, would you rather have Z say, Dad, I like you? Or would you rather him say, Dad, I can count on you?
Yeah, I would definitely rather him say he can count on me. Definitely.
That's parenting 101, right?
I would rather have his trust.
Yeah, maybe not parenting 101. It's more like parenting 701. So many parents, they want to be their best friend. They want to be likable. It's like, please like me. And they let them do whatever they want, right? And that's where today's kids having a lot of problems. But it's like, no, I can count on you. Like I can count on you to love me enough to discipline me. I love you enough to correct you, to help you, to make sure you're not doing stupid stuff, right? So it's all right. So now take us through June and the second, third, and fourth weeks. Second week
was easier. It was just, now I'm clicking because it was like learn how to ride a bike, getting back on the bike. So the second week now I'm clicking. I'm getting up, drinking my coffee. I'm going through my whole routine. And all of a sudden during lead generation, people are just saying yes. Yes. I'm blown away because I never had 1 week like that where, I've had literally like a listing appointment just every single day, right? Like they're just yes. The groove, the walks, the silence, the affirmation, the visualization, everything went to another level. 1 week. So I took out of those 5, I took one of those listings. There was only one that I would walk away with. That one was $800,000. Okay. And then there was another one that came at the end of the week where I'm in a restaurant just having a conversation with the guy, kind of like how me and you met. He comes out, he's a developer and they're selling houses. And this is a good niche, okay? Houses, the loans that they got for those houses to build and do construction on, they don't have the same budget. Okay, this is what I'm saying. If the bank gave them a loan a year ago or 6 months ago for $1 million, well, they don't have that same credit line anymore because of the wackiness of the market.
Yeah, and the interest rates and everything else.
So a lot of them are saying, look, I need to offload this. We'll pay you whatever as long as you can get it sold. This is the type of investor that came to me. This is week 2, Michael.
Yeah.
This is week 2. He just walked up to me and says, Eric, now, inside of my journal, this is another just quick little rabbit hole. Inside of my journal, I always put my end game there. And my end game there is to build and develop. That's it. That's what I want to do. That's when I'll be able to say, bye-bye to the real estate game. Do that a couple times.
Even though you're even deeper in the real estate game if you're building and developing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a next level of depth in the real estate game, in my opinion. So
yes. So what does this guy do?
I love it.
What does this guy do? He builds and develops.
Yeah.
He takes a liking to me and he says, Eric, look, you help us do this and I'll show you this part of it. And so that was week 2. We had, as a matter, his name's Jamil. He and I have literally talked every day since that day.
Wow.
So the doors we're opening up. Here we go. Week 2.
Opportunity.
Week 2.
And did that lead to the 1.4 million?
The 1.4 million was
third week?
That was the third week.
Man, I've got to almost throw out a disclaimer here just so the FCC doesn't shut us down. Like, I just want you to know, not all results will be like Eric's results, and we cannot promise any business that you'll get from 30 mornings or any of our classes. And if you don't do anything with it, you will get nothing from it, just so everybody knows. So, wow. So, so third and fourth week unit, and was it a 1.4 million or was it a combination of deals that added up to 1.4 million?
No, the 1.4 million was a deal out of California. And that was a person that I had talked to a year ago. I was here in Naples when that person had called me. As a matter of fact, I think it was the day that you and I had talked.
Wow.
So later on that evening, that person called me and they were not ready. Come to find out, they were ready. They got ready last week or 2 weeks ago, and they went ahead and listed their property with us. So that was 1.4.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh wow. So.
Oh, and that's a Georgia buyer.
Oh wow. So they're moving from California to Georgia?
To Georgia.
Well, that doesn't get any better for a guy who works in California and Georgia. Like, you're that guy. You had to be meant to be for them.
Man, Michael, but the clarity and once again, the authenticity, they feel that. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I'm looking for somebody serious. I'm moving across the country. I don't want to have a person who sleep at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
They're not looking for that person.
Yeah. That's amazing. And all right, so wrap it up. What would you say about your June 30 mornings experience?
Amazing. It was the culmination of a lot of years of hard work in searching, seeking. I think about you, Michael, in this I think about you in this program, and just how much of a blessing you are, and my question was, who did Michael have to be thinking about to develop such a program? That was my question. That was my epiphany, and you're a great blessing to all of those people.
Well, I have to be. I mean, the first person was myself, to be honest with you. I mean, that's almost all of our programs have started is like with a habit or a ritual that I have used to become a better person, right? And then it develops from there. Like, I wrote about the morning ritual in 7L. Miracle Morning haven't even come out yet, right? And then I got through a miracle, right? I got connected to Hal Elrod, co-wrote the Miracle Morning for real estate agents. And that's where, the demand from that was like, teach us more about the morning ritual. And so we created 30 morning. And I mean, what's amazing about 30 mornings is that there's so much science behind the 30-day challenge and doing, like, if I said 60-day challenge or a 66-day challenge, nobody'd sign up for it. It just feels like 75 hard. Have you done 75 hard? Like,
no, I haven't. I haven't.
Like nobody has done 75 hard. There's some people that have done 75 hard, but it's like 75 hard. Like that's a commitment from another planet, 30 days. I can do 30. And we always start them on the first of the month. So it's really just, I can do that for July. I can do almost anything for 30 days. Well, what we discovered, and then the other thing too, is that, all right, we're going to do it every morning, which is going to help people because, if we're going to learn how to do a morning ritual, being there every morning would make a lot of sense. And then the second part of it is it's not about getting up earlier. It's not. It's about getting up better.
Yeah.
So people can do the morning ritual 11 a.m. to noon. I don't care. But we had people coming to us that, and Eric, you can kind of relate to this, is we had people coming to us that were getting up between 8:30 and 9:30 and then joined the 5 a.m. club. And then they all got sick and they all hated life and they hated themselves because they failed. Well, why did they fail? Did they fail because of the process? No, they failed because it was too much of a shock to the system. That's not how our comfort zones work. We can't burst the bubble. Like our comfort zones are like bubbles. If you blow really gently, the bubble will grow and grow and grow bigger. But if you blow too hard, the bubble bursts and it's worse than it was before. Well, the comfort zone is we're going to start at 7, and that's pretty good for a lot of people. And then we're going to move 15 minutes. And then we're going to move 15 minutes. And by the end, you're waking up an hour earlier, or at least you're attending the class an hour earlier. And we do that to show people it's a 1 degree tweak, not a 180-degree turn that's going to lead to you being successful. It's large doors swing on small hinges, right? We've got to take the small hinges in place. We've got to do the small hinges, and that's all success is lots of small hinges. It's a lot of small things, doing small things well that lead to big things. And the big things, the sum of the parts is much greater than the little things. So you can do 3 little things, and yet you can get a $1.4 million listing that leads to 100,000 in commissions, right? And it's like, it doesn't take 1.4 million little things to get a $1.4 million listing. It just takes a few little things. Like you said, what's the difference between the combination lock and it being unlocked? Everything. Well, what does it take to unlock the combination? It only takes 3 things done perfectly to unlock this amazing locker and this amazing door to everything. And that's what I love. That's why 30 Mornings was created, was to help. All I'm about is behavior change. We only do life-changing classes. That's all we do. If it's not going to change a life, we're not going to do it. And now we have thousands upon thousands of people who have changed their life because of 30 Mornings.
Wow.
And I can't believe I just went off on that. Like, I'm sorry that
it's okay.
that you asked a really special question, because we put so much thought and so much research into our classes. And I appreciate your acknowledging that and giving me a second to dive deep. So
thank you. Thank you.
So what have you learned from your 30 Mornings experiences, and what are you going to do moving forward?
Very good question, Michael. Thank you for the question. The 30 mornings. So from the 30 Mornings, I just learned that it's the one thing that makes everything else easier or unnecessary.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah, that's all it is. Now, moving forward, though, I have been going back over the recordings of the 30 Mornings, because I have a 66-day challenge. So you spoke about the 66-day challenge, but I literally write down everything that's happening.
Well, when's a great time to do the 66-day challenge? It's a great thing to do after you've done a 30-day challenge.
Yep.
right? I mean, jumping into a 66-day might be really hard to start with, but you've done 2 30-day challenges.
Yeah.
You've already done a 60-day challenge.
Right.
So
Right.
66 is going to be easy for you.
Well, here's how I did it, Michael. I stacked the process. So no, the 66-day challenge was a part of 30 days, the 30 mornings.
There
So
you go.
30 of those days are the challenges.
Oh, you're already halfway done.
So we're already halfway done, but I'm looking at what I'm reading here, and it's lower your caffeine intake.
Mm.
So now I'm lowering the caffeine intake over the next 30 days where I'm weaning myself off coffee, and you start to kind of see yourself grow like that, right? Like, what else can I do? Every morning, so instead of meeting with Paulie and Angela, what I do is I play the recording.
Mm. That's why they're there. You must be an RMA.
No.
Really? Oh, so you have access to that class, though?
Yes.
Right, okay, I got it. Very cool.
I have.
Very
Yes,
cool.
I have access to the class. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So, but I'm actually able to go back and look at. So for the next 30 days, that's what will be happening, along with the lower caffeine intake.
Love it. I love it. And what a lot of people don't know is you're actually in Naples right now.
I'm in Naples right now.
Yeah. And that's where we went as a team, the FBU team. And then you're there for FB, which is Football University, for people who are wondering that. And you're actually at a Top Gun event right now, right?
Yeah.
With your son?
Yep. At a top. Yes.
Yeah. And by the way, for people, that's an invitation only type of deal. It's some of the best youth football players in the country are down there. And, so here's what's like you said earlier, it's like, man, I got to get my stuff together because we've got this FBU All-American. We've got these trips to go on, and now you paid for it. And now it's a little more comfortable financially. And you've got some stuff working, which helps mentally. And, so I love that happened. It doesn't surprise me, right?
Right.
Because you're very referable. So the first thing I want to say is thank you for joining us from Naples, Florida. It would have been very easy for you to say, well, let me wait until I get back home, or wait. And you were willing to. And I also know that doing Zooms from hotel rooms are sometimes a hit and miss thing. So I appreciate you playing in the sandbox with us today and making that happen and so on and so forth. And then I think that the second part is kudos on your success and what you're doing next and how you're going about this. And I love the fact that you've set the process for moving forward, what that's going to look like and how you're going to do it and continue to improve on yourself. And I think the best thing is just, both of our sons can look at us and just, they can say, hey, I can count on you. And I think that's probably the best part of all this.
Absolutely. Michael, you teach me so much about my son. You probably don't know this, but I listen to you talk about Max. Mm-hmm. I listen, to some of the things that you do. We have the little bar, the little thing behind the door, hangers.
For the clothes?
For the clothes.
Yeah.
I got it for Z. I got it for him. I got it for my son, and then as a parent, and this is, out of everything that it does, it makes me a better parent. It makes me a better parent to say, he's organized. This is what, he's going to do. And this is how I can help him get into the mindset that I'm in. I mean, I'm more macro, but these are kids, right? At 13. Right. So getting him to grow one small increment at a time. Mm-hmm. Me and his mother were talking one day. I want him to do this. And I was like, hey, look, just make sure he lays his clothes out for the week.
There you go. There you go.
Yep.
Wow. Well, first of all, you want to be a better parent, and that's the first step to being a better parent. Not everybody wants to be a better parent. Not everybody, I think they just like, well, I'm going to do it my way, or this is how my parents did it, But the fact of the matter is our kids have different opportunities. nowadays, and the repercussions are so much greater. Imagine doing something in today's world with all the video cameras and all the Snapchats and all the picture taking devices. And the fact of the matter is that, doing something bad can live forever. Whereas, man, I did things bad. I am so glad that they did not have cameras and videos in high school or college because you know what? If some of those had become public, it would have been tough to live the rest of my life. And guess what? I
told somebody that same thing yesterday.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they had cameras back then?
It would have been bad news for me, man. I mean, I'm telling you, I was stupid. And you know what? I think our kids are stupid right now. They really are. They're smart. They're both 4.0. They do great in school, but they're stupid as far as the way the world works, and they can do stupid stuff. And the thing about it is so let's be better parents than our parents were.
Absolutely.
So that our kids are better kids, and then our kids will be better parents than we were. And maybe that's the family tree that we develop and move forward, So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you back out on the football field this fall and making it happen from there. But any final words of wisdom for somebody who's considering like 30 mornings, or somebody that's considering like Referral Mastery Academy and that kind of thing?
Yeah, final words of wisdom: read the book. Read the book and don't do too much at one time. What you hear from me is years and years and years of seeking and searching and trying to crack the atom. This class just happened to be the pen that cracked it for me.
Yeah, that is a powerful lesson. And Eric, I just want to say I appreciate you so much, and thank you for being our guest today on Referrals Podcast. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, another amazing, did I promise amazing in the beginning? I'm telling you, another amazing podcast here today. And I'm so glad that you tuned in. Thank you for listening. Do us a favor. If you like today's episode, consider subscribing. Consider rating us and reviewing us. And if you do rate and review us, in the review, make sure you put your contact information and don't just be the closer. Right? Put your contact information so that we can refer you. And guess what? Those who refer Referrals Podcast get referred. It does happen. It has happened. We'd love for you to do that. Also, do us a favor. Check out energymasteryclass.com. Do you need more energy? Would you like a schedule full of energy empowering activities and energy empowering people in your life? Check out Energy Mastery Class. I can't wait to teach it. I've been working 3 years on this class. I can't wait for you to check it out at energymasteryclass.com. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here for today's podcast. We'll see you next time on Referrals Podcast. See you, everybody.